So where to give birth in the UK, and why does it matter where you start off your labour? So one option is the midwife-led unit, sometimes it's also called a birth centre, and this can be attached to a hospital or it can be freestanding away from a hospital, and it's led by the midwives. It's for healthy pregnancies with no complications, and the outcomes tend to be the spontaneous vaginal birth, sometimes called physiological birth. So it's where there's no intervention. You would need to go somewhere else for intervention. And 1 in 3 first-time mums might need to transfer to the delivery suite. If it's 1 in 10 if you've had a baby before. So there is a chance that you would need to transfer out. And that would be to the delivery suite, which is also called the obstetric unit or the labour ward. And this is led by the obstetricians, so the doctors. There are midwives there as well. And this would usually be if there's some kind of health condition, comorbidity, some kind of complication with the pregnancy, or you're under consultant care for some reason. And this is where you'd go to have an induction, or if you need to have your labour augmented to get it going. And it's where you would have a birth with forceps or with ventouse, and it's where the unplanned and planned caesareans happen in the theatre that's attached to the delivery suite. So there are fewer spontaneous vaginal births here. Another option is home births. There are also free births, but we're not going to include that in this diagram. That's without professionals. But home birth is parent-led. There are specialist midwives that attend, one for the baby, one for the mum. And again, like midwife-led unit, it's for uncomplicated, healthy pregnancies. And you need to be between 37 and 42 weeks to go ahead with a home birth. So it's again a spontaneous vaginal births. You'd need to go somewhere else if you need help. And 12% of mums who start at home, intending to have a home birth, transfer to the hospital. And it's as many as 40% if it's a first-time mum. So let's think about what the effect is of where you decide to have your baby. So if it's a first birth, the stats are quite different from if it's a second or subsequent birth. And we're going to look at a home birth. If it's an attached midwife-led unit, so that's attached to a hospital, or maybe there's a freestanding midwife-led unit near you, sometimes just called a birth centre, and then there's also the delivery suite or labour ward. And we're going to start by looking at the unplanned caesareans. So at home, that's 8%, 7%, 6%, and 13%. So higher if you chance of having an unplanned caesarean if you start in the delivery suite. Then with forceps, 6%, 8%, 5%, and 10%. So you would have had to have transferred from home if you're having forceps or any of the other interventions. Augmentation, where you've needed a bit of help to keep the labour going, 16%, 17%, 13% and 30%. So again, it's highest in the delivery suite. Epidural, 21%, 24%, 18% and 38%. Episiotomy, which is where they cut back from the vaginal opening to the anus to give the baby a bit more space, 15% at home, 22%, 16%, 28% in delivery. Again, most of the time you'd have to transfer, away from home. Occasionally they do it in an emergency at home. Spontaneous vaginal birth, so 69% of women who started at home, 63%, 71%, and only 46% on the delivery suite. So let's look at second-time mums or subsequent babies. So if you started at home, we're going to starting it with the unplanned caesareans, 0.5%, 0.9%, 0.6% and 4%. Then the forceps. So we're going to do the same list as before. We've got 0.4%, 1.1%, 0.7% and 1.9%. So still highest number of women having forceps in the delivery suite compared to starting in other places. Augmentation, 16%, 17%, 13% and 30% in the delivery suite. Epidural, 21% if you started at home, 24% in the attached, 18% at the freestanding and 38% in the delivery suite. And then looking at the episiotomy for second or subsequent babies, 15%, 22%, 16% and 28%. So what does that mean for having a spontaneous vaginal birth if you're at home? You have 96%, 91%, 95%, but only 79% if you're in the delivery suite. So all these figures are from the birthplace study, which was done in 2011. There are a lot more statistics that you can get from the study. Just Google it. And remember, these are all healthy women, so 64,000 women. And so there were exclusions like twin births.